Welcome into the News 10 Plus Digital Desk, everyone, on this Wednesday.
Yes, and we're so excited because Studio 10, which starts in just under an hour, our show is going to be called Turn the Tassel. It's a graduation special for the class of 2024.
Congrats!
Yes, dun, 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 dun. All right, we won't do the whole thing for you, but we're so excited. Like I said, Studio 10 is just having so much fun to celebrate this class of 2024. They are so strong. If you remember, they started high school in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes,
so
they did.
Their freshman year
Wow.
kicked off so differently than other classes of around the area. So many different not around the area, from us,
Yes.
is what I meant to say. But so strong, so resilient, and learned so much and are so smart. So we're excited to have a few local valedictorians on, or others that have been in the top of their class. And so it's good to hear from them and hear all the activities that they did on top of their academics through athletics, starting their own clubs. So they're all coming in with their cap and gowns on and just talking about those high school experiences and what they've learned and what advice they have for, of course, incoming freshmen or incoming seniors. So
no, it's great that you can celebrate the success, but also bring in the valedictorians to talk about their own success, what has driven them, like you said, all of the accomplishments that they've had on top of their academics. So that's just incredible what you're doing, and you're celebrating in such a cute and fun way.
That's right. So once we talk to, of course, the students, we have to talk a little bit about the grad parties too, because we're celebrating the students, but so of course are their family and friends through graduation parties. And what makes a good graduation party is food. And charcuterie boards are hitting it, because especially too, if you think about it, if you're invited to maybe 3 or 4 different graduation parties in one day, you're doing a lot of eating. And so it's nice that we had Gray's Table come on. They set up a scene of what they would have at a graduation party, and it's good that you can graze, so you're not overeating, and because you're going to go to the next place, and it's good food. And they have a new brunch charcuterie board.
Oh, I love brunch. Okay.
Mini pancakes, mini beignets. Yes.
I just say lunch, but I want to keep eating. That sounds so good.
So good. So we'll definitely dive into all those details, of course, on Studio 10. And another fun thing that's trending at grad parties, we're elevating the photo booth. How about the 360 camera?
Those are fun.
We had it on Studio 10. We have it on Studio 10, I should say. So definitely check out how you should pose, what kind of movements you should do, what makes it so fun and inviting, and then of course how this local business can personalize it for your grad. So we're excited to dive into that. And this edition of the Turn the Tassel, or sorry, this month's edition of Cole's Crafts, I am showing some other DIY decor that you can have at grad parties. So believe it or not, this is made from a bowl and a canvas from the dollar. All of this is from the dollar store.
Yes.
So yeah, you can you just spray paint it all, and then you just put a little, a floral thing underneath.
Thingy,
I got to add more flowers to this. And then you can even get these little tassel keychains from the dollar store.
Super
cute.
Yeah,
so we're going to learn how to do this and other kind of centerpieces that you can have at the grad party. But definitely tune in.
Yes.
We're so excited to give all of the flowers, literally, to the class of 2024 and be a part of that celebration by tuning in at 3 p.m. And if you have any advice for the 2024 graduates, definitely let us know on Facebook. We would love to hear from you so we can share it with them.
Yes, thank you, Nicole. All of the celebratory fun happening on Studio 10 today, and they can talk about all of the different things that you can get ready for the grad parties, and then what makes a great grad party. All of the fun with that. The food, the decor. Thank you, Nicole. We'll see you coming up at 3 o'clock today on Studio 10, getting started in about 50 minutes here. But yes, if you want to tune into Studio 10, rewatch anything that they're going to have coming up today at 3 o'clock, talking about graduation ceremonies, grad parties, anything of that nature, make sure to tune in to WILX Studio 10 on their social media pages. If you're a business and you want to sponsor, you can send an email at studio10@wilx.com and just stay up to date with them and all of the fun that is going on Studio 10 today for their Turn the Tassel little show. But we're going to turn it to First Alert Meteorologist Colton Cichoracki because there were some little sprinkles going on outside,
Yeah,
dark clouds.
More than just a few sprinkles.
Yeah.
We have some pretty strong thunderstorms that are out there, at least in parts of mid-Michigan. Not everyone has seen this. So let's show you pinpoint Doppler radar here this afternoon, because you can see a lot of red showing up, right? So far, these storms have not turned severe. They've gotten close. That we have been seeing some strong thunderstorms, especially in Hillsdale and Jackson counties right now.
Yeah, and I'm seeing Jesse saying we are having some strong storms in Hanover and Horton, Michigan.
Yeah, so that would be true. So we have been seeing some of these storms. I have what are called storm tracks turned on, so you see the little icons popping up.
Thunderstorm.
One there in northern, kind of right near Chelsea, and then one over in Macomb County, and then one very close to the Ohio-Michigan border. So some of these storms may have some small hail with them, as well as some gusty winds up to around 40 to 50 miles per hour. So far, I have not seen a single severe thunderstorm warning anywhere across the area, but there has been a tremendous amount of heavy rainfall with these, as well as a lot of lightning. So I turned on the lightning there, and you can see that there is quite a bit of lightning. And I'll loop this here and show you what we're, if I can press it. There it goes.
There we go.
And seeing that the majority of this right now is falling into parts of Jackson and Hillsdale counties, but even not too long ago, I know I posted on my Facebook page, Mason saw quite the storm not too long ago, and there are some more to the northwest as well. So I think all of us will eventually see some rain at some point here, but we'll keep an eye on this, the potential of seeing a few stronger thunderstorms. We're under a marginal risk for severe weather. Right now, the concerns would be from heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, and some small hail.
Okay.
No tornado threat really for today, but we'll keep an eye on this over the next couple of hours. I think once this initial batch moves out, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock, I think we're probably done with a severe weather chance, but we'll keep an eye on it throughout the rest of the evening because we do have this risk. So let me pause this again.
Yeah, I'll take a live look at Mason right now just so we can show what it's looking like after those storms. It looks like the roads are in fact still wet. Those flags are blowing, like Colton was talking about the winds, but I'll bring it back to pinpoint Doppler radar.
Yeah, and I wanted to zoom in, kind of, we got that message from Hanover. You can see some showers and storms there in southern Jackson County. A lot of lightning with this, so it's probably noisy, a lot of thunder as well. But again, these are not reached severe weather limits, but it's definitely one of those things that you want to make sure that you're staying inside, get away from the windows, especially when you have a lot of lightning. You don't want to be outside when you have a situation like this. So even towards Hillsdale and Hudson, seeing some of these showers and storms. I'll kind of move a little bit further. We just saw one move through Stockbridge right along N52, north at Chelsea there once you get into Washtenaw County, and then a little bit further off to the north and west towards Charlotte. Even Grand Ledge is seeing a pretty strong thunderstorm move in right now, so a lot of heavy rainfall coming in. So people are asking, are we going to lose power? It's not all that likely. We could see some gusty winds with this. I haven't seen a ton of severe weather reports with any of these. The problem is, and what we have dealing with today, in terms of these thunderstorms, is the fact that there's just not a lot of wind shear. So we talk about the ingredients you need to see showers and thunderstorms. We pretty much meet a lot of the criteria except for that one. So there's not a lot of wind for these storms to tap into to become severe. However, it is still possible. And one of the reasons why it is possible today is because of how humid it is. So when you have very humid air, it's actually very buoyant, so it can really move quickly. So that's why you could see some of this, as well as with the heavy rainfall. Sometimes when you get very heavy rain, it can actually push wind out too, called a downburst. So we're also watching for things like that today. So lots of things. Don't need to get into the nitty gritty, but we do have these showers and storms out there. There are no severe thunderstorm warnings anywhere. We haven't seen a single one issued. The Storm Prediction Center also said that they're probably not going to issue a watch for this area either. So we'll keep an eye on it. Only expecting an isolated strong thunderstorm or two, or none at all. So it's not a very high chance that we see severe weather today, but this still does remain a possibility. So we are in that marginal risk for severe weather today. That's a 1 on a scale out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center. So my advice for you from about now all the way until 5, 6 o'clock or so, just kind of pay attention to the weather. Download the News 10 First or their weather app. Tune into News 10. We'll keep you updated if anything does change when it comes to our weather. And again, the app is completely free, and you will get push notifications. I just put an update in there not too long ago, so you'll be able to get that. Andy is in now. He'll probably post an update in there soon as these showers and storms move on through. So not really all that severe at this point, but I am noticing a lot of heavy rain with this, so you may run into a situation where there's quite a bit of ponding out on the roadways, so that's something to keep in mind this afternoon as well. So let's show you the hour-by-hour forecast. Doing a pretty good job showing that we have all those showers and storms out there.
Yeah.
And then as we go later on into the evening, this is 5 o'clock, still a few out there, but I think a lot of it is off to the east, and we should begin to dry out as we head into the evening hours of today. We may even see some clearing happen later today as well. But then as we get into tonight, we're actually going to see another round of some showers that come through. I don't expect this to be severe. This is probably just going to be some rain showers, maybe not even any thunder with this. But after this moves through, things will quiet down. And one thing we'll really notice, and I'll show you in a second, is that by the time we get into tomorrow, humidity is really going to fall.
Oh, good.
So tomorrow's going to feel so much nicer than what we're going to see than what we've been seeing as of late across the region. And for Thursday, tomorrow, likely going to see a partly cloudy sky, I would say, and maybe a stray shower as we get into the afternoon hours of our Thursday. So here's kind of the severe weather risks for today. Like I mentioned, high winds, large hail, the primary concerns, as well as some very heavy rainfall. Not really expecting anything widespread. Still haven't seen a single warning. I'm keeping an eye on my phone here to see if I get any notifications on there. Not really, haven't seen any of that, but maybe some gusty winds up to around 40, 50 miles per hour, and some pea-sized hail is possible with some of the storms that are out there currently. And we can show you a live look from our Meridian Company Skycam network. Jackson, you can see a little bit of a storm there off to the south. Looks like a few raindrops. Like I mentioned not too long ago, Mason saw quite a bit of rain. So if you live in parts of mid-Michigan that haven't seen very much, you may very well soon see more over the next few hours, including the Lansing area, which actually hasn't seen a ton as of late. Now, current conditions do show that temperatures did warm up pretty quickly out ahead of these showers and storms, upper 70s, lower 80s that are out there right now. It's really not the temperature that we noticed too much about today because it's not terribly warm. However, it is the dew point. It's so humid outside. So when we talk about dew points, which is a good measure of humidity, the higher the number, the more humid it feels. We're in the 60s and 70s. And for reference, that's kind of what they experience in Florida quite often. So you know Florida's very humid, and we're seeing some of that here. So it feels kind of gross outside, if I'm being honest. But I do expect that the dew points will fall after a cold front comes through late tonight, and then we'll see some much drier air move in, and the muggy meter will show that as we see that line just drops way off, and then it really isn't much of an issue through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So just got to get through today's humidity, and then it's much nicer. But we will cool down too. So that's another thing here with the forecast. There's a lot going on, right?
There is a lot going on.
So we are going to cool down in a pretty big way. So we go from the upper 70s today. I still have lower 70s for tomorrow, but then it's 60s and 70s for Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's a cool weekend.
It is a cool weekend. But if you want some good news about it, your air conditioner gets a little bit of a break, right?
There you go.
So you can open up the windows, get some fresh air in there. I know my air's been working hard the past couple of days.
Yes, it has.
So that's the good news. It is going to be below normal though. So unfortunately, if you want to do pool or boating activities this weekend, maybe not as warm as you would like. And I should have thrown a graphic in here to show it, but what's actually going to happen during that time frame is we're going to have a low pressure system that's centered off to our north. It'll keep the cooler air in place, and we may see some showers pop up each and every day, specifically for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I only have about a 20% chance for each of those days. I don't think it's anything widespread or anything that will ruin the day, but it is something that's possible for a while here. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even possibly Monday, we may see a stray shower. But I think for the most part, it's going to be dry the next few days. And then it does look like by the end of next week, we'll warm back up, get back into the 80s. But yeah, it's really interesting. You know, a lot of people have been predicting a very warm summer, but haven't seen that just yet. It has been kind of cool here. May was pretty warm, but June not starting off as warm.
I was going to say May, we had temperatures climbing up almost toward the 90s, if not like flirting with the 90s.
Yeah, we were close to it. And you know, even yesterday, we were forecasting highs to get up into the upper 80s. Didn't happen. The high in Lansing was 84. So just haven't seen that true heat come in yet, which is fine by me. I don't like the heat, but
yeah, you like the cool temperatures.
Yeah, I do. I do like the
snow. Do you like the rain?
I like the rain.
You like the rain. Okay, rain is nice.
And we're seeing a lot of rain in some areas. So I just wanted to go back to pinpoint Doppler radar. No warnings to speak of with any of these. We really weren't expecting a ton of severe weather with this anyways, and we certainly have not seen it. Hang on, let me show it.
I'm going to show this real quick. Delta Township Skycam is getting a little wobbly right there with the wind, so just keeping an eye on that. I know pinpoint Doppler radar, as Colton's showing you right now, that storm system
and you
is
know,
moving that way.
we did mention that one that was in Grand Ledge. That's
Yeah.
probably what they're seeing here from that view in Delta Township, because our camera for that is kind of in here.
Yeah,
This
right in
area,
there.
and it's looking this way. So it's seeing this thunderstorm, some of the winds being pushed out ahead of this storm. Again, nothing really severe with this, but maybe some wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour with the strongest storms that we have out there right now. But again, hang on. There are no warnings in effect for anywhere across the region. I've been keeping an eye on it, looking for one, but nothing has popped up.
Yeah.
They just haven't reached that level. So doesn't mean that they won't be gusty, doesn't mean that you might not see small hail, but it doesn't reach that severe warning criteria. Oh, yeah, so we can go back to the Delta Township and see the rain is starting to come down.
Yeah,
so we
it
mentioned
is.
that Lansing hasn't seen a ton of this, but now beginning to see some of the showers.
That
and
is heavy
thunderstorms.
rain.
Yeah, it is. It is quite a bit of rain.
That was cleared like literally 10 seconds ago.
Yeah. So I'm sure if you went to Jackson too, that's
Yeah.
probably showing some
I'll
some
go back
heavier
there
rain
in
too.
just a second. Let me switch back to pinpoint so we can make this transition. Oh, Jackson, not as much. I mean, you're seeing more raindrops than we started off this little show with. But Delta is really.
It's the joy of having many sky cams,
Oh,
right?
Was that a flash of lightning?
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Maybe.
Oh. Oh.
Well, you definitely see the raindrops in the distance in downtown Jackson.
It could have been a flash of
that could
lightning.
have been
You
a
know,
flash
there
of
have been
lightning. It
some
was so
lightning
quick.
strikes. Quite a bit of lightning strikes. Let me see if I can do that here.
Go back to. Oh, you're gonna check out.
Hang on, I'm gonna see if I can do it.
Oh, sounds good.
We use our iPad, so I don't have my regular computer.
Oh, you're good. I'll show you the Delta Township Skycam again. Yeah, it's almost invisible. I mean, you can't see
Oh, wow, look at the rain
anything
coming
because
down.
it's so covered in rain. Look at that. That is.
So Serena just said an
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous sky at the moment on Saginaw Highway in Lansing. I would assume that's because of the thunderstorm that's moving in currently, but I do want to show you on pinpoint Doppler radar. It worked for what I was trying to do.
Wow.
The amount of lightning strikes that are just in the southern part of mid-Michigan and Hillsdale and Jackson counties, 83 current lightning strikes. So there's a lot of lightning. What that tells me too is that that's likely because of the humidity, because of all the moisture that's in the air. We're seeing a lot of lightning. So these are noisy, and they're going to be noisy as they move through.
Okay.
So a lot of rumbles of thunder with this. As this line of showers and storms, I'll clear that away.
Yeah. Real quick, Colton, for anyone who may be out on the roadways right now, who may be heading outside later today,
Yeah.
is there anything that they need to know with these lightning strikes? I know you talked about it in your weather alertness or preparedness. So is there anything they need to know?
Well, the biggest thing when it comes to thunderstorms and rain or thunderstorms and driving, I should say, is probably from the rain more than anything. It's never a shame to pull over if it's raining too hard. I know I've done that many times. So that's probably the biggest thing. And obviously, Delta Township it's absolutely pouring there right now.
Yeah, you can't see.
You can't see much going on. So these have a tremendous amount of rain and some gusty winds with them. There just are no severe warnings with them, but that doesn't mean that they aren't strong. That doesn't mean that you may not see any impacts from them, and that's certainly what you're seeing. You see traffic is really moving slow. What you can see through there on Saginaw Highway.
With the headlights a little bit.
Yeah, on the west side of town. So when it comes to driving, making sure that you have your lights turned on, and that's something too to keep in mind. A lot of people have automatic lights,
Yeah.
or they may just turn on, or they have daytime running lights. The problem with that is you can't just rely on those daytime lights
No.
because the back lights don't turn on, right? So you want to actually turn on your lights so that your back lights are on, your headlights are on, so you can be seen when you have these strong thunderstorms, because it's dangerous. It's not, you don't want to be driving around in these storms.
No, you
they're
don't.
producing a lot of heavy rainfall, really across the entire area. And I'll kind of zoom this back out and show you that this is what we have going on. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder with it. But I would suspect that once this back edge over here, that's now parts of Ionia County, once that gets here and moves off to the east, I expect us to kind of start to quiet things down, and this will probably be the worst of it. So, if you want to show that camera,
Yeah.
this is a look from our US 127 Skycam looking towards the storm. So that's kind of an interesting, maybe trying to get a shelf cloud or something there on the right part of your screen, right below where it says 127. But yeah, a nice view facing off to that storm that's in Delta Township. That's
Yeah.
kind of what we're looking at here. That's producing a lot of this heavy rainfall. So
I feel like the rainfall is messing with our sky cam a little bit. Those cars are looking a little bit
little-
dragged out
a
on the
little
road.
glitchy.
Yeah, a little glitchy.
yes.
Any
Yeah.
other live looks that we should take, Colton?
Not that I can see here. Yeah, we have that storm that's over in Delta Township. We also have the storms down in Jackson and Hillsdale.
Here's a one in MSU, Michigan State University. You're seeing wet roads and
Starting to see some
very
rain come
dark,
down
yeah.
there in East Lansing. So, so we'll keep an eye on these throughout the rest of the afternoon. Nothing severe at this point, and there really hasn't been anything severe. I think a lot of this is just some very heavy rainfall and some gusty winds, but not terribly strong winds. But we'll keep an eye on it throughout the rest of the afternoon. I would suspect these probably continue for a couple more hours, and then they're out of here.
Okay.
And then we'll see just a few showers overnight. This is good news, right? We don't want severe weather.
No,
so,
we do not.
But we'll keep an eye on it. If this does change, we'll either jump back on here on News 10 Plus, or coming up with Studio 10, we'll be talking about the weather in Studio 10. I'll be in for the 4, and then Andy Provenzano is also here monitoring things, and he has the 90 minutes of news. So we're all here. We're keeping an eye on things. Cole, our weather intern's down there,
Yes.
also keeping an eye on what's going on. So if we need to jump back on here, we will. If we need to post more updates, we will. But just keep an eye out for these showers and storms over the next couple of hours as they continue to move on through.
All right. Thank you, Colton, for sharing all of that in-depth detail. And yeah, taking
Yeah.
those live looks around mid-Michigan.
And we really appreciate people's comments, letting us know what's going on. We rely on, our viewers sometimes when it comes to what are you seeing. Really helps us out. And if you get any photos or anything, you can always go to our website and submit the photos on WILX.com. That's always a useful thing for us. You can also do that in the First Alert Weather app. There's if you scroll down to the bottom, there is a link there that you can press, and you can submit photos that way. We can't rely on if you post it on social media. We can't necessarily rely on that. So sending it to us is the right way to do it. But yeah, you can also get obviously updates to the forecast. You can look at radar in there. So very useful on our website, on our app, on streaming, on air. We have you covered on every single, possible way. Over there to the right, if you scroll back up a little bit.
Scroll back up. Let me do that.
So weather, and you can click on add media, and you can submit photos that way too.
There we go. And just upload your files there.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, thank you for all the updates, Colton. I know that was a lot, but there's a lot to share to keep everyone prepared and safe.
This is what I get paid for, right?
This is what you get paid for. You did your job.
Yep, there we go.
Thank you for doing your job.
No problem.
A+. All right. We will see you coming up Studio 10 at 3.
Yes.
Sounds good. That's getting started in just over half an hour. So here's a look at Studio 10 one more time. If you want to get up to date with them on all of their graduation ceremonies, make sure to do that. And then, of course, the First Alert Weather app for free off of Google Play and the Apple App Store. Make sure to download it because of all of the storms and thunder showers and storms that we're getting today. One last time, I am going to get a live look in Delta Township, which actually now looks like it's clearing out. So there you go. Very, very wet roads, and you're seeing the aftermath of that storm passing through. So again, this is a live look in Delta Township. And if you joined us about 10 minutes ago, it was very hard to see out there, lack of visibility. So if you are out on the roadways and you're passing through, I'll show pinpoint Doppler radar again. If you're passing through and you are noticing all of that heavy rain, just take your time out on the roadways, especially with all the construction, the detours, and now you have this heavy rain coming down that will limit your visibility out on the roadways. Just take your time. You're already supposed to be taking your time going through construction zones. Let's make sure you're following that so everyone is staying safe. But yes, a live look, or just a look at our pinpoint Doppler radar as all those storms and showers move through. But I'm going to turn it to Riley Connell, who's going to share what she has coming up.
Hi.
Hello, during 90 minutes. Were you in the rain?
I saw that sky cam over there. I was not in the rain today.
Good, good,
I
good.
often get stuck in the rain when I'm out reporting because I'm bad at bringing an umbrella with me. And this is why we need our First Alert Weather app so that you can check those notifications so that you know when you need your umbrella.
Yes.
So, I was not diligently checking my notifications when I was getting stuck in the rain. So that's important to remember.
Yes,
but I did not get caught in the rain today.
You're nice
so.
and dry today.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Yes, I was hoping to stay.
Hair looks great.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We've recovered after a rough softball night yesterday.
We don't have to talk about it.
We won't go further into detail about what happened, who won, who lost.
It's just all about the fun.
It doesn't really matter. It is all about the fun. And
You
we're
did
all
well.
winners.
You played well. We are
Thank
all
you.
winners, yes.
Thank you. That's right. We're all winners.
That's a great message on
Everybody
this Wednesday.
remember that. If you heard, anything about that game, who won, who lost, you just
Doesn't
remember
matter.
that everybody's a winner. Anyways.
Good little tidbit.
There you go. So coming up on News 10 at 5, we've got a pretty interesting story that we're working on today, talking a little bit about better protections for our judges at the state level in Michigan. So maybe some folks don't know, if you're a federal judge, so serving in like a federal circuit court, your personal information is protected in some regard. So, whether that's redacted information, through a court system or, any type of way that they can keep their private information private.
Yeah.
But those same protections don't extend to judges at the state level who, serve in our state level courts. So those judges in Michigan are now trying to have, some of those protections extended to them, saying, we want our personal information to be protected by law. I don't want it to be so easy for somebody to find out where I live or who my family members are or, any other sensitive information that could lead to maybe putting their safety at risk. So this was earlier today a testimony from some of those judges who were advocating for this act. They went before Michigan State House of Representatives Committee. They have committee hearings all the time in that lawmaking process. So this is just the next step for the House of Representatives, taking a look at this law, deciding what they're going to do next with it. They have to hear testimony on it first. So that's kind of what was a part of this step, is having these judges come out and say, here's what my experience was, here's why I think we need these protections. So we heard some very powerful stories from judges serving in the state of Michigan, and even one judge from New Jersey who tragically lost her son to a disgruntled attorney who was frustrated, upset with the way that their court proceedings were going, and who had taken it upon himself to go to this judge's home with a firearm and had killed her son. This was a very difficult and traumatic experience for her to go through. And her husband also sustained injuries but survived. And this was all because of something that had gone on in the courtroom that was then taken outside of the courtroom. So it's quite possible, for those situations to happen to some of our judges, people who maybe don't like the decisions that they make or the rulings that they make. So this is something that they say that they are afraid of, and they want, as much protection as they can get to make sure that people cannot take out an anger that happens within the courtroom, on them outside of the courtroom.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. I didn't really know before learning about this what kinds of protections were extended to our judges.
And it makes sense that they would want those protections.
Certainly, yeah. Yeah, it was unimaginable. There was a judge from Wayne County as well who had experienced some stalking, some harassment, some intimidation, very difficult situations. There doesn't have to be a loss of life for something to be traumatic or to, change the way that you live your life comfortably. Mm-hmm. So difficult stories to hear, but we heard a lot of testimony on that end. So we're going to give a full breakdown of what this, it's called the Judicial Protection Act. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into it at 5 o'clock, and you can hear some of that testimony from some of the judges who were there today talking about their experience. So that is definitely something to tune in for.
Yeah, and that's News 10 at...
News 10 at 5.
News 10 at 5.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Riley. That is a lot in the Judicial Protection Act.
Yes.
Okay, coming up News 10 at 5. So Riley will have a full breakdown of that. I'm not seeing any questions, but if you have any questions, comments for Riley, going forward in her story, make sure to share.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you, Riley. I do want to pull up our You're Not Alone mental health series. Riley was just mentioning, you don't have to go through something necessarily like a loss to experience something tragic, but if you are experiencing a loss, something tragic, traumatic in your life, whether that's suicide, depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, stress, it could be addiction with substance abuse, or even something like gambling we've done stories on. Or maybe you're just going through a little rough patch and you just need someone to talk to and get some things off your chest and find ways to recenter yourself. I know I just had my therapy session today. I just like to talk to my therapist and here's what's been going on. How do I prioritize myself, have patience and kindness going forward? So that is some of the messages that we talked about. But yes, no matter what you're going through, know that there are resources out there for you. We have, Riley. Cheryl says hello. She goes, hi, Riley.
Cheryl. Your grandma.
Yes, your grandma.
Yeah,
your grandma's
Cheryl
saying
Connell.
hi. She commented hi.
Cheryl, this is News 10's Erin Bowling. I just want to let you know that you are a pillar in this newsroom.
She said hi.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Grandma. Hi. Thanks for watching. Shouldn't you be working?
She's supporting you.
I love her. Shout out to
I
Cheryl.
love her too. Look at that. Thank you, Cheryl, for joining and shouting out Riley.
Yeah,
Riley has told us the most hilarious, wonderful, awesome stories about her grandmother, Cheryl.
Cheryl, you have to join the
The
News 10
whole
Plus
office
desk.
is watching.
Yeah, she's a hoot and a half. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Get up here. She's just on a roll right. I love this.
She is.
I wish we could
She's
bring
chatty.
Cheryl in, have her on
She's
the desk.
chatty. She'd take up the whole half hour.
That's fine.
She knows it.
That's fine. That's
Yeah,
welcomed.
that's all right.
I love this so
Right.
much.
I'll
All
go
right.
back to working. I'll leave
So
you to
good.
it, but you
All
know,
right. Hey, good luck.
Stick around, Grandma, and everybody else in the office.
News 10 at
Right?
5 for Riley. There you
Yep,
go. That's
right.
awesome. Hello, everyone. All right.
Right. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining. All right. We're going to turn to Erin now, but Cheryl and everyone watching, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to share what. Oh,
Cheryl said she's coming in.
Cheryl
You better.
is coming in, Riley.
She says
I'm not.
Riley's grandma.
We'll
for those
keep an
who
eye out
don't know
for
who
you.
Cheryl is, Riley Connell's grandma is who
Yes.
we're talking about here in the comments.
Everyone's probably
Thank
like,
you
what
for
is
tuning
happening?
in. Yeah. But getting us back into the news element of
Yes.
our live stream
Yes.
here. Today on News 10 at 6 o'clock, I am going to be sharing a little bit of information about PFAS and how it has kind of spread throughout our water, the Great Lakes Basin. It's actually been found in rainwater. This is a recent study published out of, I want to say, Indiana.
For those who don't know what PFAS are, those are the forever chemicals that are getting into our water.
So the researcher I spoke with today, she said PFAS are about 12,000 to 15,000 different chemicals. They're just stick around forever. It's not like just one chemical. It's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of different types of chemicals. But they were testing they're testing Michigan's air, water sources, rainwater, and they found that there was PFAS and all of that. Thankfully, she said it's not like an alarming amount.
Okay.
But the issue is with PFAS is it doesn't really decompose easily. So they're man-made chemicals, and they'll stick around in our environment. They've been called forever chemicals because they stick around kind of forever, for a really long time at least. And so what their kind of message is, we're still producing PFAS. It's in like our cosmetics. It's in all different kinds of things. And their hope is that some of this research, and I also talked with some folks at MSU, and they're kind of hoping the same thing. Their hope is that some of this research will kind of bring it to the attention. We shouldn't be having all this PFAS. It's known to be toxic to humans in really high levels. Their hope is that maybe we won't be producing as much with PFAS, because the more we produce, the more it gets into our environment, and then once it gets there, it's kind of
It doesn't
really-
break down.
It doesn't break
Yeah.
down. Can't really get rid of it too easily, if at all.
So you're just multiplying it. If you keep producing, you're just adding
Right.
more and more to it.
Right. So their hope is that there will be some more regulations put into place, to cut down on the amount of PFAS being put out into our environment. But it was really interesting. So the study itself was just kind of looking at how PFAS gets into our water sources. So again, like I said, they're testing the air, they're testing rain, they're testing just water sources in general.
Yeah.
But one thing that I found really interesting was that the level of PFAS in rainwater in like Chicago, for example, was the same amount of PFAS that was found in like remote areas. So think like the Upper Peninsula or, yeah, so kind of interesting how.
City to like more
Yep.
rural areas.
And
yeah.
that's different for the air. So the air in the city,
Yes.
there's more PFAS in, you know, urban areas in the air than there is in rural areas. So it's kind of interesting that the rain has the same amount, but the air does not, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
But again, I want to make it very clear that she did say these aren't like super alarming levels of PFAS in our rain. It's not at that super high level where we need to be super worried about our health and, you know, the impacts that it could have. But again, you know, talking with the folks over at MSU, they say the more we produce these chemicals, the more they're going to get into our environment, the more they could potentially impact our health. So,
Well, you think about the rain that we have today.
right.
And so, you know, when it's, I don't even remember all the terminology. I need Colton here to explain
know,
all of that. Oh my
right?
goodness,
Yeah.
give me a break. But when the rain goes up, we'll just say that, you know,
Yeah.
the correct word, we'll just put a pause on that, lack of a better word. And then, of course, the clouds are moving across like we're seeing today.
Yeah.
And they're dropping that rain all over the area.
Yeah.
So even though, you know, one state's or region's water may be, you know, have less PFAS,
Yeah.
if it's picking up and going to another area, it could drop even more PFAS and kind of accumulate it in that way.
Yeah.
I hope that made sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's really interesting. But like I said, News 10 at 6, I will be breaking down this study a little bit further, just looking at, you know, PFAS in the Great Lakes Basin. And, you know, what we know about it and how it would impact you. So News 10 at 6.
All right, News 10 at 6. We will see you then. Thank you, Erin. I know that's a lot of information to break down.
All at once, very complex,
Yes.
so I apologize. Did my best to keep it simple,
Yes,
but
you
if you
did.
guys have any questions, I'll try to, you know, answer those in my story today if you want to throw them down in the comment section.
All right, sounds good. We will see
Yeah.
you then. Thank you, Erin.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to share what else we have coming up during our 90 minutes of news, getting started with First at 4 and Mid-Michigan Matters. It may not feel exactly like summer with all the thunderstorms and showers we're seeing today, but like Colton was mentioning, we'll get more of those 80 degrees and more of that summer-like weather in the way or on the way. But coming up today during Mid-Michigan Matters on First at 4, we are bringing in someone from Sylvan Learning Center. So they're going to be talking about, as children, I know a lot of them are area schools, a lot of them get done this Friday, June 7th. And so for those heading into summer vacation, you have all of that knowledge packed into your brain, and I'm sure you definitely want to break at least some time to, you know, just rest your brain a little bit. But if you give your brain too much of a rest, it may get used to that, and then it's hard to get your brain up and working once the school year does begin again in August or September. So I know we don't want to think about school starting before it even ends for this summer, but it's important to keep your brain gears turning, keep learning, and whether that's reading or taking any classes over the summer, or even just staying active to keep that brain functioning. We're going to be sharing with a member from Sylvan Learning Center on the importance of summer learning for kids, and then the different options and resources across Mid-Michigan that you can look forward to if you're a parent and want to keep your child learning throughout the summer months. It's a great way to keep them, you know, busy, and it's also a great way to just keep their brains growing and blossoming. And then coming up, News 10 at 5 today. We are following a suspicious fire from overnight, and this was a scene from a crime that happened a few weeks ago where there was a murder and then someone dismembered a body. Our News 10's Tanai Jordan spoke with the community, and we will have more coming up News 10 at 5. Coming up News 10 at 5:30, as bird flu spreads in Lower Michigan's poultry and cattle, farmers say they're getting more concerned about food supply. So coming up on News 10 at 5:30, we'll dive into how the disease is impacting the supply chain. Coming up News 10 at 6 today, Michigan is now part of the nation's first youth mental health course, and it's a fellowship opportunity for middle school and high school students where they gain on-the-job experience and provide mental health resources to their peers. So this new initiative will build a pipeline for more mental health professionals, and News 10's Deanna Giles will have more information coming up News 10 at 6 today. So a lot of information. I'll leave that up there for you for just a second, so you can kind of read through what we have going through today, maybe catch up from what I was just talking about. However, something else that I want to mention is for all of you wheel watchers out there, it's the end of an era for Pat Sajak this week for one of the most popular game shows in history. Oh, let me take this down so you can see it. This Friday is Pat Sajak's last episode of Wheel of Fortune, if you can believe that. So make sure you're tuning in. And then also, when you go to all of our streaming platforms, you'll be able to see David Andrews, who went behind the wheel back in 2002 We have it in our From the Vault section on all of our streaming platforms. So just make sure to go tune into that. Again, this Friday at 7 p.m. And then you can go to our From the Vault section on our website, wilx.com, for more information on Pat Sajak. And if you want to see anything with David Andrews from the Vault behind the wheel in 2002, if you can believe it. So go back. There's other retro videos up there as well if you want to check it out. Just very interesting content that you wouldn't typically see on News 10. So we put it on our streaming platform so you can check out more content. Going to see if there's any comments in the chat. We are all good. And then that was what we have coming up again during our 90 minutes of news. Let me pull it up just one more time. I know it was a mouthful. So we'll leave that up for just a second. And then as we have this up, something that I do want to mention is that starting tomorrow morning, so Thursday morning, WILX will be airing the French Open. And that means News 10 today at 11 will be exclusively streamed online. And you'll find that on wilx.com and all of our streaming platforms with the free WILX mobile app. So make sure to go check that out. And I'll show you where you can find that. So if you head to our website, wilx.com, you'll be able to see right here at the top blue bar, I'm circling it with the mouse. Click on live stream and you scroll down. You will be able to see, well, that was me popping up for a second right there. That is what we have streaming right now, of course, and thank you for those joining. And then, oh, Jesse's saying we will all miss Pat Sajak. I know he's been a good host on the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, make sure, Jesse, that you are tuning in this Friday at 7 p.m. to go check that out. But I will say this is the stream that you're seeing right now, and then you'll be able to see later on what you can expect. That looks so funky watching myself right now. That looks so weird. Anyway, yes, tomorrow morning, News 10 today at 11, that will not be aired on your typical cable channels. You will instead have to go to our website, wilx.com, which is what I was showing you. I'll show you one more time now that I'm off of it. You're seeing the bullet points up here. This is currently our live stream that we have right now in the News 10 Plus digital desk that you are currently watching. But tomorrow morning for News 10 today at 11, it will be exclusively streamed online. So this is how you can find News 10 today at 11 tomorrow morning. And then you can find it on all of our other streaming platforms, like our WILX app, which is completely free, so make sure to go check that out. I'm not sure if there's anything else I can mention right now. Just watch out for the rain, the showers, the thunderstorms. Of course, you're seeing that going across mid-Michigan. And I will give another live look at Delta Township because Colton and I, when we were up here not too long ago, we saw a lot of rain going, and of course the sky cam is getting blurry again because of those raindrops on the camera. And you can see past the raindrop that the roads are in fact still wet. It looks like some puddling could be accumulating out on the roadways, and your visibility could be reduced because of all the rain. So just make sure that as you're out on the roadways today, you are taking your time. If you're out for a walk, you're just going grocery shopping, running your errands, or maybe just like walking around in the rain with your dog or whatever it may be. No judgment, all valid. Take an umbrella and rain jacket just to keep yourself protected from that rain. Or maybe, you know, you want the rain on your skin, like Natasha Bedingfield says. Then, you know, just stick with a rain jacket or something like that. But I will say a reminder with the lightning strikes going by and the thunderstorms, you probably do not want to be outside during that time. You know, if there's just some raindrops going by you, some rain showers, totally fine to be outside. But when you get more of those storms and especially the lightning, you do not want to risk your safety, your own life, and whoever else's life is there with you. Probably best to just go inside, take a little reading day, a movie day, go take a nap. You can tune into News 10 all day. So those are just different ways to keep yourself safe. And then you can stay up to date on the showers and storms happening too. So one more time, we'll look at pinpoint Doppler radar. As you're preparing and planning out the rest of your day today, just know that we are monitoring, and by we, I mean here at News 10 and more specifically our News 10 meteorologists, our weather team. They will be tracking all of these storms, and Colton Cichoracki will have a more in-depth look on Studio 10 at 3 o'clock today and first at 4. Followed by our 90 minutes of news, which Andy Provenzano will give more of those first alert forecast updates. So make sure to tune in then. Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.